Hi, welcome to your add-on. Today is thighs. Let's get started. We're coming over to all fours to begin. Hands and knees. Set yourself up so your hands are right underneath your shoulders. You're going to take a nice big breath in, open up your chest. As you exhale, you're going to round in, downward facing dog. Tuck those toes under, lift your hips, press yourself back. You can pedal it out, whatever you kind of need to just move into the shape here for a moment. And then we are floating out into our first full plank pose. Here we go. Shoulders are coming right up over your wrists. Your heels are pressing back. I want you to take a really big breath in and exhale. Try to pull the belly and the rib cage up into your body. Drop your knees, child's pose as you exhale. If you are working with diastasis, this is okay. What I want you to do is start to say hello to these plank poses. You're not gonna live here, you're just taking a breath and working with where you are. If you're feeling like it's really too much for you, you can drop your knees, be here on an incline plank, and work on this level, okay? Once you feel like you can recruit the belly up and in, you can hold your pelvic floor up at the same time, then you can start to add the weight of your legs, okay? Up and back to a downward facing dog. Come out into a plank pose. So in addition to your belly having to work in plank pose, your thighs are also working. Can you make a muscle with the tops of your thighs and push them up into the back of your legs? It's gonna help take some of the weight off of your belly. Knees down, child's pose. One more time like that. All fours, big breath in. Exhaling, plank pose. Up, up, up. Heels back, heart forward, shoulder blades together. You're firing up your thighs. Knees down, have a seat back on your heels one more time. Walk your hands back towards your knees. You're gonna set yourself up in parallel tracks. Coming up onto your knees, your shins. If this is too sensitive for your knees, you can fold your mat back and create a little pad for yourself like this, okay? From there, hands to your hips. Feet are pushing down into the ground. Find a neutral pelvis, okay? Remember where that is. You're gonna recruit your low belly, gather your tailbone in, zip up your waist, and you're gonna start to hinge your way on back. Hinge back, hinge back, hinge back. Any tension in your knees, you've gone too far, you need to work a little higher. Any tension in your low back, internally rotate those inner thighs, work a little bit higher, okay? What we're going for is glute, quad, and core strength working together. We're coming up a few inches, coming down a few inches. Coming up, coming down. We've got 10 more. Here we go. Hands to your hips. Relax those shoulders. Breathe. Dive in head first. We're at 4, 5, 6, 7. Deep breath. 8, 9. Last one. 10. Come on up. Woo. We've got one more set. Gathering in those inner thighs. Internally rotating. Opening up your sit bones. Find your pelvic corridor. I want you to notice that as I'm moving, my low back is not breaking, right? I'm in a moving plank pose again. Come on back. 10, here we go. 1, 2, pull the belly back as you're moving. 3, 4, 5. I'm feeling it and I'm breathing. That's 6, 7, 8. Notice I'm not coming all the way up each time. I'm staying in a work zone. Last one. Pause here. Step that right foot out in front of you. Have a moment. You can just let that thigh breathe for a second. Come back up. We're going to a high lunge. So that right foot is underneath your right knee. Tuck your left toes under. Even out your pelvis. Now I'm not just going to push down on the ground and try to stand up. I'm actually going to start with my pelvic floor. Pull up that pelvic corridor. Gather yourself up. Pushing down. Come on up. You're hovering. Gather up both sides of your glutes to stabilize the pelvis. Lower belly in, gather up the waist. 1, 2. I want you to feel like you're pushing and pulling with your feet against the ground. 6, 7, 8. We're going to 10, 9. Stay. Re-recruit the belly and find a nice neutral pelvis. Push on that right foot. Take a big breath in. You're coming up to stand. Pull that left knee up into your chest. Now you know what I'm going to say. You're not using your hip flexors. You're using your butt, core, and thighs. Here we go. All the way back. Deep bend, big breath, and up. Stability and balance and movement. That's 3. We're going to 10. 4, 5, breathing. 6, 7, let your lungs expand. 8, this is your life energy getting bigger and broader. Last one, and you're back. Pause, straighten both legs. Turn your feet parallel. Open up your feet so they're a little wider than your hips. Turn your heels in. Take a big breath. Exhale. Bend your knees out over your ankles. We're in a wide second position. Now it's harder to find a pelvic floor contraction here. As you pull up that pelvic corridor, come down 4 more inches, you're using the outside of your glutes to stabilize the tops of your thighs. You're gonna open up those knees a little bit wider. We're coming up and down 15 times. Here we go. 1, 2. Squeeze the muscles to the bones rather than use momentum. That's 6, 7, 8, 9. Momentum would look like this. All right, we're using muscle. Last 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stand up. Arms up, big breath in. Turn your toes forward. Exhale, we're forward bending from the belly. You can bend your knees as you need to. You're forward bending down over yourself. Nod your head up and down. Exhaling. And then you're gonna crawl yourself around your left foot. Go ahead and plant your hands down on the ground. You're gonna lift your hips, brace your stomach muscles, and step back into a downward facing dog. Take a big breath in, pedal it out, open up all those muscles you were just using. Go ahead and come out into a plank pose one more time. You're reaching your heart forward, your heels back. You're gonna pull up, drop your knees, child's pose as you exhale. Walk your hands back towards your knees. Come up onto your shins one more time. You're gonna find a nice neutral pelvis. Gather yourself. Big breath. This time we're gonna stay back at your lowest range of motions. You should really start to feel these turning on. Now we're gonna do pelvic tilts. So you're gonna use these muscles, and use these. Here we go. Rotate in, 3, 4. We're going to 10. It's the magic number. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come on up, big breath. You've got 10 up and down and you are done with thigh dancing. Here we go. Come on back, come up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe, close your eyes. Go down where you get your courage. Pull it up. Last 2. Last 1 and pause. Take a breath. The left foot steps out in front of you. Have a moment, just let that right side breathe. Woo. And then from there, hands down to the ground. Tuck your toes under. You're gonna lift up, right? Oh, sorry. You're gonna bring your hands up to here. Then you're gonna rotate. Then you're gonna lift up. Find that nice neutral pelvis, internally rotating your thigh bones, pulling up the middle belly, hands to your hips. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're coming up to stand. Here we go. That's 1. And back. 2. Bypassing the hip flexors, letting your butt feel like it's kind of slowing you down and controlling the backward motion. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. This time you're coming up to stand. Feet hip distance apart. Take a big breath in. I want you to sit back into a squat. Send your pubic bone and your tailbone back. We're finding that nice inclined plank position, okay? Internally rotating your thigh bones. Pull them out apart a little bit with your feet. Zip up through the belly. Come down 4 more inches. You have 20 squats and you're out. Here we go. 1, 2. I'm not dipping and kind of bowing with my chest. It's stabilized from my upper abdominal muscles. That's 9. That's 10. Last 10. 1. Sit back further. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and release. Arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Whew. Have a seat. Take your legs long out in front of you, arms up into the sky, and fold forward as you breathe out. Roll yourself on up as you inhale. Whoa, have an amazing day.